Sun in the second house today. So this is the series about the sun, and if we just go over the indications of the sun. So sun is obviously everyone's soul. It's the significator of the soul and what the soul wants to do in this lifetime. So whatever house your sun is placed in your chart will be where you want to have authority and you really enjoy doing things that you just want to fulfill things to do with that house. So obviously we're now talking about the second house, and isn't it funny because talking about the sun, and sun's just appeared. And so sun is obviously authorities, government, it's leaders, it's politicians, and yeah, and obviously in anybody's charts will be the significator of the sun. But you still look at the ninth house, depending on what ascendant it is. And you can always read anyone's chart from the sun. Some will be what the fixed karaka for the soul. But obviously you want to look at Gemini ones as well, the Chara ones, because they are different for different people. So anyway, somebody who has the sun in their second house, that's where they shine. In the family, they are very much respected because second house is family, is values. They have really dependent on, obviously everything that I'm saying is very much dependent on a sun in good dignity without any malefic afflictions. And so basically, this person will be very, very motivated about their family and their values and family values. So everything they do will be very much focused around the family because that is for them is their world, and they can be possessive over it as well. They can be possessive over the resources of the family, of kind of values and traditions that they pass on as well. That will be, and the early education of the children will be paramount because they want those traditions to just keep going on. So they will have a nurturing energy because of the second house. Second house is natural. Second house of the zodiac is Taurus, and it's all about family and nurture and things like that. So also this second house is our speech, how we speak, and and our voice. So and second house, because naturally sun rules the natural fifth house of the zodiac, which is Leo, and it's very creative and inspiring house. And therefore, when that goes into the second house of speech, these people can have really good voices, very authoritative voices, because it'd be a mixture of the sun and Venus together, and they could be very good singers, which actually Gemini, Sage Gemini says about that. That could give you a singing career, if you like, if it's linked particularly to your 10th house. And so this is where this is also house of money. So their energy will go into having earning money for the family and resources of the family. You will probably find that these people, because second natural house of the zodiac is also a fixed sign, they will also like to have some stability in terms of money as well. Second house, obviously, second and 11th houses, if they're connected, it could give you some sort of it could give you wealth, obviously, and it could be banking as well, because naturally Taurus rules banking. But it doesn't mean that you'll necessarily work in that. But generally speaking, if you have these people they could have family money as well. They like to pass that legacy on to the next generation too. There is something about, they generally speaking, they can be, if the sun is in good condition, they can have they can feel like this financial responsibility around money, for the families, therefore saving. And if they buy anything, particularly if it's, if it's falls in a house that's got anything to do with Saturn, for example, they like to have antiques and things that they can pass on of value. And then what else? So as I said, they could have a very authoritative voice, and they basically just enjoy affluence, really, because second house is Taurus, and the dad could be quite boastful about the family. So even if they have like things, every family has got issues, haven't they? No family is perfect as such, but they like to portray a really nice family thing to the world, generally speaking. Particularly, I mean, I think that will happen either way, really. So whether his sun is strong or weak, I think when it's weak, we just overcompensate or whatever sometimes. Excuse me. Sometimes when it's strong as well, it can be like overwhelming too. So it's a funny old thing, isn't it? This planet's been too strong or too weak, and any form of influence on them. Anyway, they kind of like they like to be resourceful in everything that they do. There's got to be a value, and what do I get out of it, kind of thing, because it's also the house of choices, because Venus rules there, likes to make good choices in order to, there's got to be value to things that they do. So even if they spend money, they like to get good value. So obviously second house of the natural zodiac is Taurus, sort of to do with food. So they have got this very sophisticated palate. They like to go to they like nice experiences as a result of it, and obviously sun is like noble and aristocratic and royal. So he likes to go and have this beautiful meal, highly sophisticated, really nice experience, kind of thing. And for example, if say this happens your second house, say if you were, this is just an example, if you had for a Scorpio ascendant, you had the sun in the second house, which will be Sagittarius, and obviously it's a fire sign, so sun naturally does really well in all their fire signs, and obviously we know that is exalted in Aries, and is friendly with Jupiter, so does extremely well in those houses. Uh, and Sagittarius is kind of old culture, antiques, things like that can be connected to that as well. Classics, as such. So they could have a library of books, which well, they wouldn't just buy a book. They would buy a book that will be that could accumulate in wealth. So that'd be like a form of investment, really, for the future. That's the kind of thing that they do. Everything has a reason behind it, and definitely accumulation of wealth will be something that will be there. So also the father can give wealth to the family or not, depending on the son. And obviously, that there's a maturation age for every planet, and after that, that kind of helps with everything to do with that house or planet. And after the age of 30, you always find that you get the inspiration really kicks in, because that's when the sun is like coming to its zone, and he wants to go and conquer the world, wherever it is. And so in this one will be like it wants to create wealth, it wants to have good resources, etc. That will activate. And obviously when that activates as well, the eighth house activates, so it will be like all the insurances, legacy for the family will be thought of, all that kind of stuff. So they will just invest in the future as such. That also could be working for the government, could be doing some financing work for the government or government department. It rules government anyway. And this is obviously second house of value, and particularly for the men, because obviously sun rules the masculine energy naturally, and normally men all of us really, because we have the sun. But money gives us value. So if, for example, if for a period of time you earn, like, I don't know, say £30,000 a year or $30,000 a year, or whatever currency it is, we kind of feel as though that money is our value. That money gives us value. And so the more we earn, the more kind of we value ourselves, and obviously that gives us that sense of security in order to save or enjoy life in a sense. Um, so uh, so actually, particularly with the sun being there, you have a sense of value of self through how much money you earn, and but don't overthink this, because obviously with time all the planets do so much better because we use them differently. These are all our chakras, and we tend to use them in a much more sensible way. But second house, obviously these are all sort of mind, to do with mind chakras, so the mind will be on money and resources and things like that, and they want to be like doing something for the family, having that value for self. They can be highly talented as well, just purely because it brings in Venus and Sun together, two very creative, artistic, um, kind of planets, um, or sign, if you like. And they basically, family will be massive value to them. They, even if they don't say very often, eventually as they get older, they kind of realize uh, the essence of life, how family is the essence of life and joy. And they would naturally have that kind of possessiveness about their family. Uh, and I think when you have that in your second house, you naturally, people will listen to you because it gives you that kind of authoritative voice. It gives you nice speech as well, a kind of speech, or you will quote things that are of value. This is how, with time, this gets better and everything. And obviously, it's a sign that you will actually have um, authority, and you will shine in that. So you're naturally in the family, you can shine. So even if it starts off quite difficult, by working on that, you will actually get the family respect. Obviously ego is a massive issue with the sun. So, and if it is afflicted, and if it's weak, or it's got um, afflictions from particularly Rahu, it can kind of have that massive ego issue as well, which is not great. So, um, but yeah, these are the things to actually bear in mind. So, um, obviously, it's also, the sun is one of the karakas of career as well. Even though it's not really, I wouldn't really necessarily say that you would look at the sun for career, but management in kind of travel industry, hotel, banking, accountancy. It depends what sort of things it's involved in, what house it's in, what sign. Sorry, not what house, what sign, where it goes in the D10 or your D9. That kind of influences as well. But generally speaking, it's a really nice placement. And even though this is not necessarily what it says, but Donald Trump, actually, he has Sun in Taurus with Rahu, so he got massive ego. And Sun, obviously, his Sun has got Dikbala as well, so it's really strong directional, strength there. And but I know it's his 10th house, but nonetheless, it is in Taurus, and Taurus is the natural second house of the zodiac, and he wants his family very much involved in his life. You can always see that he's very happy to share the stage with his family, spend time with his family. He has those sort of values which come with that. So no matter what he does, he's naturally a person that's appreciative of those values, and obviously money as well, which is very much to do with the second house. I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me.